Well, it's just, I mean, look, here you've got a combination. We have the mechanical mining and with the jumbos, the two-boom jumbos, and we've got the air leg miners. And air leg miners now are just starting to get into probably the higher grade, narrower stopes for the gold, and also for the nickel. So it's actually, an air leg mining is, you know, it's what the mining industry's been built on in the past, and now progressively you get this mechanical mining coming in, and with the two-boom jumbos and that sort of equipment. So this ore body suited to a combination of both. And I'll tell you, there are few underground mines in the world that have this multi-commodity, and that's provides an enormous amount of optionality for RNC. So we're now looking at, we're getting the gold to a stage where we will have a brand new resource which we can convert into a reserve, and hence a new mine plan based around the gold. And this company and this mine hasn't had that for, I don't think, ever really. And the amount of drilling going in is quite significant, and we'll have a good understanding of the gold. But in addition to that, we should, as a company, look to leverage off this optionality that we've got. So we're now again going into a bit of nickel. It's not in a big way, but nickel today, the price of nickel in Australian terms is, you know, around $18,000 a tonne. So 3% nickel, 4% nickel is worth in ground probably around $400 a tonne. You put all of the payabilities, the treatment costs and so on onto it, and a 2% nickel for us is about break even. So and there's a lot of plus 2% nickel around. So we can do that in combination with the gold, and especially in this period between now and when the new resource and reserve comes on. And that's, you know, somewhere around the end of May, June, we'll have that all ready to go with a new mine plan, and then off we go.
So how many headings do you actually have working development? What do you have working production? How many are in high grade stopes?
At the moment, we're pushing the declines down, the 2 declines down. Very soon we'll have now around 2 to 4 headings in ore. By the end of next month, that'll probably get to around 6, and then by the following month we'll have 8 or more headings in ore, all in ore. Plus some stopes are starting to come online now. We'll start to fire stoping this month in gold, and we'll start to go into you know, sort of 2 or 3 stopes over the sort of next sort of 4 to 8 weeks. So
nice.
Yeah, lovely.
Good.
And then we'll throw in a bit of nickel as well, and you know, it's a nice mix.
It's the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
It seems like you have a very highly mineralized area at this mine. It's very interesting to see.
Well, you have gold, you have nickel by themselves, and then you have nickel and gold in the one area. So there's some samples you can show you that you can see where there's actually gold with the nickel. And it's quite unique. It's about the understanding, and our geology team has a good understanding of the geology. The miners are now mining to the ore rather than sort of, and this new resource will provide just so much advantage to both parties. We'll be able to go down and say, there you go, this drive is heading out in this direction towards this drill hole, where before we'd say this drive is heading in this direction, the drill hole we didn't have, now we will have.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference for us.
What are we looking at in regards of depth? I know you wanted to test the sedimentary layers, and we know that you wanted to get down to the bottom of the Lunan basalt layer.
Yeah.
What's actually down there? What have you actually got into? And are you seeing the geological models that have been presented to you kind of somewhat come to fruition? through your drilling program, or are you just mapping out the immediate resource that you're after?
The bulk of the drilling is on to provide a mine plan, and for at least 12 and hopefully 24 months. That sort of a time frame. And what that'll do is provide a sort of a consistent ore supply into the mill, and obviously revenue. Part of that, there will be a couple of holes that start to look on pure exploration to start to open up this field. Yeah. And over a period of time, I would see more of that exploration drilling, because you're not cramped for a lack of production. Gotcha. At the moment, it's moving into where we can start to open up some of these areas. And again, over the last 3 or 4 weeks or that, we've been able to move from almost a developing mine into a production mine again, and that's it takes a while. It's like turning a ship. It doesn't happen in sort of a matter of day. You've really got to turn these things around slowly, and that's what happens.
Have you come up with any areas that are surprising to you that you didn't necessarily anticipate were there, or has it been pretty much exactly what you've expected along with the process of drilling so far?
Yeah, look, it's the model pretty much holds up within reason, and there's areas outside, but there's a lot of holes being drilled in this place, right? But no one's ever taken the time to really sort of look at putting them together. So there's a lot of outlier holes, and that have good values in both from a gold perspective and a nickel perspective. And I think over time we'll start to bring some of these, our understanding will grow, and we'll start to hopefully include some of these in our future plans.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So you would expect to be back into bulk production mining within the next few months, like you were saying. So what would be like your annual targets for production mining?
It's a little bit early to say. Given that the bulk of those production tonnes are going to come from the new resource and the new reserve. But so in the meantime, what my aim is to ensure that we build up our production plans based on our current knowledge as quickly as possible, and fill this gap that's between why the exploration drilling is going on and when the new resource and new plan comes out. So if we can do that, I think it'll be a very good outcome for RNC.
So beyond June, I think, would it be safe to say that you'll probably keep a drill running or two beyond the updated resource, and you'll continue to develop the exploration with the drill? Yeah,
obviously it's a real balance. It's a balance of the cash going out, cash coming in, and this is a business. We have to run this as a business. It has to make money. And so it's a continual balance of this, and these operations pay for themselves, need to pay for themselves and make money for shareholders. So our aim is to do that. When the drilling's finished, we'll put the plan in place, we'll know exactly where we're heading, and then we start to add on to it after that, and that's where the additional drilling will come in. But there's any number of places in this mine to drill, and there's some I think some areas that we haven't really gone in to look at yet that may well come onto the future plans. So it's a good situation to be in, albeit you're running with a 3 gram ore body, a gold ore body. Throw in a bit of nickel, and that could take it up to 3.5, 4 grams, and then you can make some real money out of this. Throw in a few more Father's Day, and it just,
that's the real
and it just happens. Those sort of things, and that's what you want.
Yeah, that'll bring up your grams per ton average in a hurry. That's
very quickly, and so this area is right for those. It's just whether we can identify them, as quickly as, and they're tough. They're small, but they're super high grade as everyone's seen. Mm-hmm. So you get one of those into your mine plan, and it changes the whole dynamics.
Yeah, but you got endless possibilities at that point.
Yeah.
So Mark's gone on record several times saying that there's $500 million worth of infrastructure in this mine. Can you elaborate a little bit on what what the key attributes of the infrastructure are. Like we all know there's a very large ramp that is parallel to the ore bodies that you're chasing right now, but it's nice to hear it from somebody who's on site and you develop this every day. So
well, you just have a look on that wall up there in the plan, the amount of that one there, the long section. It's an enormous amount of development down there, and to do that sort of thing, you do that sort of development now would cost you exactly what Mark was saying. So we've set up, and a lot of the areas have been developed, and the decline's down to a level that we can start taking advantage of some of the pre-developed areas. So we've been pushing hard on the development and to open up all these ore drives. So we're not far from being in a position to do that. And that's obviously good news. But then you've got the ramp, but then you've got all of the indirects. So you've got the ventilation, you've got the escapeways, you've got the refuge chambers, you've got water, power, all of those. It's an enormous amount of funds to get it down to, and most of that's in place.
Yeah, that's what really fascinated me and captivated me in the junior mining market. You know, a lot of these junior mining companies are all about the exploration. So it's drill, get the assays, and that's what's going to push your company up. But Beta Hunt is in a very unique position that you have a fully functional and operational mine with all the infrastructure to just go right at the ore body. And it's so impressive, and that's what's exciting for me is to see that, right?
It is, and you're right, and that's what, again, we throw in now that the optionality with the different commodities that we've got down there, the multiple headings that you can access at the one time, and it's all about balancing your gear with your ventilation and your people and all of that. So once the plan's in place, I think it's going to make a big difference to what we can produce on a consistent basis for us.
Is there one particular area that you would say is going to be the most exciting for you, being at the helm of all of this, that you're looking forward to getting the drills running into?
Look, I think what we're seeing, it's always difficult, but I just base it on the facts, what's in front of it. And to date, what we've seen is a lot of consistent, higher grade results have come from the drilling of Western Flanks versus the A zone. A zones have the Father's Day load in, right? So I think Western Flanks could be your bread and butter, right? And that longer term, just turn it over, make it happen, churn it out type operation, wider and more consistent. Whereas A zone, it's the cream. If you get a Father's Day load or something similar to it, whatever, they're the ones that adds on top, and so it's that sort of ability to be able to have that, as I keep saying, this optionality, I think is great. I think there's some areas there that we still haven't touched yet, and I think they could provide a whole different perspective of Beta Hunt, and a little bit early to talk about those, but at some point in time they'll be investigated, and who knows what they could deliver.
That's
so
what we're all hoping for.
Some of these, what they're mining above us in the open pit, goldfields are mining, is a different style of mineralisation to what we're mining here, to the gold. So if there's an extension of that, who knows what we could, unearth down here. So there's a lot of potential upside for us. There's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of getting your foundations right. You've got to get your foundations right in all of these operations, otherwise it doesn't matter what happens up the top. It'll crumble like a building. So get those right, get your mining practice, get your geology, get your costs, treat it as a business, and make sure you make money for everyone, including shareholders, especially shareholders. That's what it's about. So get all of those right, and then start to look at these others. So we're in that process, and the drilling that's been doing will go a great deal towards making sure that happens sooner rather than later.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to do the interview with me. I appreciate that.
No.
Look forward to the rest of my
Well,
day here.
I'm glad you got the opportunity to come over, Mike, because there's no better way to be able to understand what you've got and what you're investing in.
Exactly.
And these people, I'll tell you, they're open, they're good, they've got a great team here, really good team, and we just need to now focus in the right direction, and that's what we're doing now.